Florida Man here, first YouTube video review. This is going to be on a knife that I've had for several years now. I think between 3 and 4 years. We'll just call it 3 on the low side. This is a great knife. This is the Crkt Hissatsu folder. I bought this knife because I wanted a knife that was going to be good for utility and good for self-defense. That way I only need to carry one pocket knife because I don't like a lot of things in my pockets, or clip to them for that matter. This is what I chose, and I do not regret that decision. This is a great knife. As you can see, pretty worn. Had it for a while. This has the auto locks feature. Crkt does. I wish more knives came with this. This is great. This black bar right here, this is the outburst assisted opening feature, and it is removable in case you live in a place where you don't have freedom. Basically what the outburst does is after you open the knife to 30 degrees, it will spring open by itself, just like that. Makes it really easy to open, really fast to open one-handed. The auto locks here will engage automatically. What that is, it's a liner lock, so I can't press the liner lock down all the way to close the knife. I have to pull the auto locks back, then I can press it down enough to close the blade. That's great, because if you're using this in some kind of a defensive manner, you don't want to have to accidentally engage, or disengage rather, that liner lock and have the blade come back on you and cut your own fingers. That would be disastrous. That auto locks prevents that. You cannot close it unless you manually disengage the auto locks, then press the liner lock down. But you can still close this one-handed, not a problem. Great knife. Crkt on that side. On this side, you got some really cool Japanese kanji. I don't know what it says. Probably says Hissatsu folder. The patent information, nobody cares. As you can see, the blade is very worn. I've got some nicks up here in the blade, just from using it and having to resharpen it. But it's still really sharp, still a great knife. Still working very well 3 years into it. The pocket clip's pretty worn, but you can see it does have some wiggle now, side to side, but it's inset, or I guess that's the right word, into the grips here, so it can only move that far anyway. It didn't come like that. That's just from being worn. I don't know if you can see, it's got some nicks up there from being jostled around, being clipped on stuff as I walk by and whatnot. Pocket clip still very strong, springy. As you can see, I can barely even pull it up. Still good to go, still a great knife. You could find these for 40 to 50 bucks if you look, so it's a great price. There's a series of these. I believe they have, this is the Hissatsu folder, they have the Hissatsu fixed blade, several other ones. They have a newer line that's similar to this with the outburst and the auto locks that's got that traditional Japanese style tanto. I think it's the Shinozo Okin or Kino, something like that. I don't know, but if you look, basically the difference is they're not liner lock with the auto locks, they're a frame lock with the auto locks, which is just as cool. I actually like the way they look better. I'll probably end up picking one of those up soon. They have one that's bigger than this by about an inch. It's got like a 4.5 inch blade and about 5 inches of handle. This has about 4.5 to 5 inches of handle and a 3.5 to 4 inch blade. Not sure the exact specifications, nor do I care. It's not a heavy knife, don't know the exact weight, but it's not heavy. It's pretty light. It's maybe 3/4 of an inch thick, so it's not thick. Great knife for EDC, tactical use, defensive use, whatever. Like I was talking about before, the outburst is removable. It's not going to say it down in there. There's a set screw. You just use an Allen key, pull that out, and you can pop the outburst right out if you don't live in a free state. Here in Florida, if you have a concealed weapons license, you can carry assisted opening knife, so that's okay. The texture here, it's got this slick texture, but it's got these bumps on it. It's really not that grippy, but I've never had a problem with it slipping out of my hand. But it's kind of, it's not, doesn't feel slick like if you were to just use it, but I guess if your hands were really sweaty or bloody or something like that, it might be a little slick. But overall, just a great knife. Not a bad price, and it's held up well. I've definitely abused it. You see, I've even worn the finish off the auto locks from using it so much. Great knife. Crkt Hissatsu folder.